Thank you, Pushpa. And then our next speaker, I will say, John Isham was on the agenda this morning, but unfortunately he is ill and was not able to come down from Middlebury. So that's good because we're running behind, actually. So we'll cut John out. I mean, we would have obviously loved to hear from him, but our final speaker today is Penelope Canaan from the University of Central Florida. Penelope is the chair of the sociology, the PhD program in sociology there. She has a long history in the clean energy field. In particular, has done path-breaking research that was helpful in the design of the international ozone control policies that came out of Montreal. She received EPA award for that work, and then every 20 years the EPA picks the best of the people who receive their awards, and Penelope is in many ways the best of the best. She also is from a very large university system, 50,000 students at the University of Central Florida. Just moved in there 3 years ago and was instrumental in putting together a major teaching event. So, Penelope, thanks for joining us.
Hi. I'm so thrilled to be here because I get to meet you, and when you're in this business, you're alone a lot. And so to see, and it's a lot of ideological work, to be inspiring people to make a difference when all of the information is that we're not being very successful. And so I think the amount of ideological work that I have to do it takes its own toll on me. So I'm so glad to see you, to meet you. I want to hug you. I'm very happy to meet you. I met CF for Central Florida. CF.
Sorry, CF.edu?
No, just org.
Just org, okay. Very good.
Okay. I met Eben in the 90s on a panel to review some economic work. I was at the University of Denver for 23 years. That's a school of only 4,000 undergraduates. And then I took a leave of absence and I headed up the Global Carbon Project in Tsukuba, Japan. While I was at Denver, I was on the Economic Options Committee for the implementation of the Montreal Protocol, and eventually the National Science Foundation funded me to do a formal network analysis of the experts that came together across all the different sectors, from foams and to air conditioning to methyl bromide in agriculture, all of the different sectors that were implicated in ozone layer protection. All of those came together to become and make the rules of the game. And so it was my pleasure to look at the trust, the connections between people that ended up being the creators of the rules of the game. In other words, normative, not the emergence, but the actual creation of the norms of global governance of the ozone layer. So you can imagine, I was coming back from Japan at the Global Carbon Project. I had written a book looking at networks as actions, communities of action, and then I ran into my old friend, Eben Goodstein, who said, I've got this new idea called Focus the Nation. This was like perfect. And I was on my way to leave Denver to go to this giant school. So everybody that I met for the first couple years of being at this new place, everybody I met, I said, hi, I'm Penelope Canaan, and I'm here to focus the nation. And it worked. In the first year, let's see, I guess I can say our projects. This is our own little website. We were not sure we wanted to be a student organization at all. This is a Mac.
Should.
I'm always impatient. Okay.
Let's get right on there.
Then well, I was going to show you a bunch of stuff. I don't really need to show you that. What we did was to spend 2 full years. We had people come from Who Killed the Electric Car. We had the director and of that come, and we had a big conversation on campus. We had electric cars to ride and drive. And this was our kickoff. We then were in the homecoming parade as the Green Goblins, and we were then had a full. We also helped do the kickoff webcast, the 2% solution. So our students were very engaged, and then we put on an all-day event that had people from federal, state, and local, public and private, from churches to academics. It was a full day, 12 hours of events. This year we chose the model of teaching in the classroom, partly because we were a little stunned by the switch from Focus the Nation to National Teach-In. We just didn't know, and we had invested so much time in becoming Focus the Nation at UCF that we didn't really know exactly how to handle that, and yet we didn't want to lose credibility, and it was pretty difficult, I think. So what I'd like to talk about specifically is how Focus the Nation, or a teach-in idea, that you have to keep on momentum, and you end up being a person who's just constantly energizing, and new students are a stream coming through. And so if you don't kind of regularize some of these things, you just are you're burnt all the time, you're burnt out. And secondly, I believe that the brilliance of our ability to work like this is that your own university's characteristics, your own community's characteristics get to match. You get to create it. In other words, there was not one idea of how to do anything. Instead, there was just an invitation to do, an invitation to find our own voice, an invitation to create something that would reflect who we were wherever we were. If we're at Maricopa Community College, this system, then that looks different than it would at Bard College, and that was the beauty of this. And it was, I eventually said to my students, who were the few that were in really the key leaders, let's have an independent study where we study this social movement. And we studied it, and each of them wrote papers that were on the national program for the American Sociological Associations, their annual meetings. We're now publishing these papers where we look at the networks that were created. Another one is looking at just how this fits into the power shift and other kinds of things.